Hello everyone, it's Leo and I'm here today with my adorable Kira Papaya plushie to celebrate episode 28 from Tropical-Rouge Precure, which was, in my opinion, the best episode of Tropical-Rouge so far. It's right there in the alumni of the best Precure episodes. That's how much I loved this. I'm head over heels over this episode. I I don't have words to describe how much I loved this, and seeing how Minori grew and everything she went through and how she is dealing with it. I just loved it. But let's talk about it, and I'm going to try to explain why I loved it so much. So we started the episode with Minori, going to the library and getting the book from the literature club, and Laura noticed it. And Minori was taking a look at the book, and then she took other books as well. But what's important is that Laura was the one who saw it. And I feel like Laura's presence in this episode was super, super important for a couple of reasons. And one of them is, I feel like when it comes to the leads of the season, which are Manatsu and Laura might be a little better to be able to deal with the nuances of the characters, especially with Minori, because Laura has a deep relationship with her. Laura was the one who made her come out of the shadows in episode 4. Laura was the one who had a talk in the episode that the queen sent them presents. I don't remember which episode that was specifically. And also they changed bodies, they switched bodies. They were able to live a little bit of each other's lives in that episode. So they have a deep bond and a deep connection. So it was interesting that Laura was the one that started noticing things. And we also know that Laura has no filters. And that also played a little part in this episode, because we see that there's going to be a festival. The girls are all busy with different things. And the Tropical Club decided to do the tropical makeup stuff. And look, that's one of the things I love about Tropical-Rouge. Giving a little bit of attention to every single character in every episode. They do it almost always, and I feel like in this episode, they also did it. Asuka taking charge of what each of the people in the group was going to do, because she is the leader of the club. She is the club president, actually. And Minori not really wanting to play a big part. She was going to be more behind the scenes, because that is who she is. That's her personality. And when they started talking about the dresser, Minori was the one who, found the information for them to, do it themselves, a dresser, and that was cheaper. And obviously, Minori being the bookworm she is, she knows where to find things, she knows information, and she knows stuff. So that being something that she played in that moment, gorgeous. The episode flew by, as this was very Tropical-Rouge-like. The pacing of the Tropical-Rouge episodes are usually very fast. We had some episodes lately with a slower pace, and I even commented, episode 26, I think, felt very healing good to me, because the pacing is very different. Until we get back that fast pacing, we start the episode with 30 days to the event, and then the event comes and it's already there, everything's starting. And I feel like, as I said about Laura, she is not afraid to talk. She's not afraid to expose her feelings. So they meet Izumi, one of the girls from a past episode. She's part of the communication called the radio thing. I don't remember the exact name. And so Laura, she doesn't waste a second in speaking and asking about Minori's past. And so Izumi explains that she was part of the literature club. She wrote a book, she wrote a story, and then she just stopped writing, and then she quit the club. She didn't give an answer. She didn't give a reasoning. She just quit the club, and that was it. She never wrote again. She never saw her writing again, only reading and only quiet in her own place. And so this is something that Laura is able to do. She is able to come in and ask something in your face. She's very in your face. I love that about her. So that was awesome. And then we see the girls divided into different things. The girls are playing with makeup and doing makeup on people, Sango and Asuka. Laura and Manatsu, they have to help the crepe club. the crap thing, the little store, because they were running and running out of people. The people that were supposed to show up didn't show up. And we also had Chongire. Oh my god, Chongire is so hot. Let's talk about Chongire a little later in the villain portion, because that's also important in this episode, girl. There are so many things in this episode. And they wanted to do a little transmission in this episode, a little interview with the Tropical Club, and no one was able to do it. Minori was the only one. And we know how Minori likes to be on the sidelines. She never really appears that much. That is stressed throughout the whole season. They try to showcase this part of Minori's personality in almost every episode of Tropical-Rouge. So that is why I think that Minori is the best handled character of Tropical-Rouge. Like, there are so many instances that this happens, and I really like it. This is how big this was for her. We didn't really see how she was feeling. The only thing we saw was like, okay, I can do it. I can do the interview by myself. She just got in, she just put on a little makeup. The girls were surprised. Manatsu and Laura, who weren't there with her, were very surprised. Asuka was like tense and apprehensive. It was like, oh my god, my daughter is making an appearance, so let me watch over her being the president of the club. That's how I felt like she was feeling at that little scene. And it was awesome. She was able to do it normally. And that was awesome. But then Chongire attacked and the girls went on to fight. And this is what I'm always expecting from Tropical-Rouge fights. This fight, if you look at past seasons, like for example, Go Princess or Happiness Charge, like seasons that had big and gorgeous fights, this is not it. But this fight in this episode was super dynamic, super fast. The girls were all acting and kicking and punching and doing lots of things. That's what I want to see. You know, I know the fights are not going to be on hard catch level, Go Princess level. I know that. But it was so good, and it was so fast, it was so dynamic. I loved it. And like, there were certain interesting instances in this fight. Like, for example, we have the girls all attacking and them all being captured except for Papaya. And then we see that the monster was tapping on some books from the Aozora Club. And like, Papaya got super angry at that moment. And we were able to see Papaya fight. And at that time, I thought, okay, she's gonna perform her solo attack, which is a gorgeous attack. It's my favorite from Tropical-Rouge. And that's gonna be it. Laura's gonna be able to get the motivation back and it's gonna be finished. But it wasn't like this. You know, she performed her solo attack, and then after her solo attack, she did another attack of her own. She kicked. You know, she was like, I'm gonna attack physically as well, on top of my stock footage attack. Gorgeous. Loved it. And super dynamic. And so Lemaire was able to finish the monster and everything. And everything was fine. Minori, we could see that she still had some sort of feelings towards the literature club and their hard work with their books and the publication that they were doing in this event. At the end, she was able to get all of the books, and Laura was able to like directly ask her. Laura wastes no time. I love that about her. And that's when things got very emotional. But before that, let's talk about the villains. After the fight is over, we immediately see Chongire in the villain's lair. And an earthquake is happening, and the three of them thought that the earthquake was a natural earthquake. But then Butler comes in and says, this is no earthquake. This is the queen having nightmares. And the source of her nightmares is because you are not getting motivation. And they're like, we're trying our best. Well, interesting things to consider here. The first point is, the villains didn't know that the queen had those nightmares and they could generate those earthquakes. It feels like they don't know much about the witch. Second thing, the witch seems to be suffering with those nightmares. So I feel like her being a real villain is not going to come into play. There's going to be a justification for what she is doing, for whatever she is doing and everything. And Butler also seems worried about the fact that there is no motivation, they're not getting motivation, while the other three, not really. So things are gonna start to change in the villain realm from Tropical-Rouge for sure. Gosh, I cannot wait for the next episode. But now let's talk about the best part of this. Let's talk about the end of the episode in which Minori opened her heart. I can't at how powerful that moment was for me. So the first thing is that we learned what actually happened in the past. We already knew that Minori quit the literature club since episode 4, and that the literature club didn't like her story. And Manatsu was able to read her story in episode 4, and Manatsu was able to stand up for her again in this episode and defend her story and everything. But what happened was, Minori wrote her story, she was super excited, and her friends or her colleagues read her story and they liked it. When she went to show onto the literature club, they said it wasn't good, it was just copying from another stories, and it didn't have her in it. It didn't have anything original or anything different in her story. And so they didn't consider her story to be a good one. And when Manatsu defended her, she said, "Thank you, but I totally acknowledge the critics because I read my story after that, after all the excitement, and I was able to notice that they were right." And here's where things changed for me completely at this moment, because the narrative, they didn't want to create a victim story for Minori, which would be cool as well. But now, what happened was, she didn't write a good story. That's it. She was able to fail. And that failure blocked her from writing anything else. And she was completely lost in her writing process. She couldn't write anything. And her passion for reading and writing kept on existing. So she kept on reading, but she felt that something was missing. And there is something that didn't feel complete with her. And when she was able to turn around in the episode and tell it to the girls and open her heart to the girls and say that now things are starting to change for her because she is enjoying life with the Tropical Club and also as a precure, her life is changing, her horizons are broadening, and her passion for the stuff she likes is coming back again. That's why she is reading more, because even the reading wasn't giving her the thrill that it did before. And now she's reading more, and Laura said that earlier in this episode. And now she's reading more, she is enjoying reading again, and her passion for writing is going to come back for sure, because now she's able to be herself once more. And I really love the fact that the narrative let her fail. And they let her have a trauma over failing that she is overcoming with everything that's been going on in Tropical-Rouge in her life after she joined Tropical-Rouge. So I love that. I really like the fact that her story was actually not that good. And she was able to deal with the fact, she was not able to deal with the fact that her writing wasn't good because she was so excited and she was so passionate about it. But now she's able to look at it objectively and see how it wasn't that good. And she is now able to overcome that trauma and start getting her passion back and her ability to write again. Oh God, my heart. And I'm gonna be honest, I cried at that moment. I can't put it into words here. I cried. It was very beautiful to me. And, you know, when the girls were praising her for her interview, which was totally natural, she was like, I was super nervous, but I just copied Laura. That moment, it was everything to me. You know, this was a powerful episode. Oh my God, how powerful can an episode like this be, and how strong of a character Minori is. I just love it. And I feel like the way she is overcoming her problems, and it's not like she wrote a full book in this episode because, whoa, my problems are gone. No, she is overcoming it little by joining the girls and enjoying a tropical life. And there's also the fact that the episode, in the first moment, didn't really focus on her that much. I mean, it did focus on her actions, but never on what she was thinking and how she was feeling about stuff. Just to show us everything at the end, because at the end, she was gonna have that beautiful exposure moment and her heart opening to the girls. And, this, my favorite episode so far, Minori. I love this character so much. I love this character so much. She is everything to me. Anyways, guys, that was my view on episode 28 from Tropical-Rouge. Next week, things are gonna get super interesting. They're gonna get the power up. The power up is gonna be related to the dresser they made this episode. This is so gorgeous. Everything's gonna be so gorgeous. Legendary cure appearing. I'm excited. Next week, things are gonna get crazy. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and obviously a special thank you to the members of the Magical Cinema channel. Thank you for all the support. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!